Ethan looks like he's about to fall asleep. Really? Welcome back. I was going to say, you're getting sleepy.
A little bit.
Welcome back to Robin Vale.
Thank you.
How's Geelong?
It's good.
How's the weather in Geelong?
Cold.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a bit out of my
You're welcome.
acclimatization.
You're welcome. It's what, 33 degrees at the moment?
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful. It's beautiful at the Jack because the pool outside is delightfully clean and sparkling.
Yeah.
We've also got David from Austria Distillers. Pick up your microphone so we can have a chat to you because that's kind of important. Don't spill that limoncello. That's equally as important.
No. Thank you for having me today.
Thanks for coming and thanks for bringing this beautiful limoncello, which is delicious, I might add.
Thank you. I made it with my own hands.
Apparently. So you are, to put it in some context, I think some people may not know that there is quite a large distillery operation in Robin Vale.
It is an open secret.
An open secret. Well, we like open secrets. Tell us about this open secret.
So I studied in Scotland. I did my master's in brewing and distilling.
You've got a master's in brewing and distilling.
That's correct. And I did that in Edinburgh.
Of course you did. Wow. Okay. Put the microphone a little bit closer so we can hear you because you're far more interesting to listen to than I am. Wow. So you got that in Edinburgh?
Yeah. So it was really cool. It was really, really fun to do. Great career choice because all we did was drink in class and talk about alcohol and learn about alcohol.
Why are more people... Ethan, what degree are you doing right now?
Bachelor of Construction Management.
How's that working out for you? How about going to Edinburgh to do a master's of distillery and brewing?
That's right. Look, it was a huge eye opener for us, or for myself. Sorry. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun and met a lot of great people. But more importantly, I learned the craft of distillation and brewing and how to make an exceptional product.
Yeah, and it is absolutely a craft, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, look, it's a science degree, so it is a science-based craft. But even with the science, it's still with the cuts of the heads, hearts, and tails, distillation. It's all flavor profiles, and you're always nosing and tasting and bettering your product. And that's where the craft comes from. It's having an understanding of what something tastes like. You could taste the whiskey and go, is there fresh cut grass in that whiskey? And then how do you know what that is? Like, you've got to kind of teach your nose and teach your mouth and teach your senses to work out what that is and link it to the product. And that's where the craft comes from.
Wow, that's so interesting. How long does it take to teach your brain and your mouth to talk to each other and teach yourself to pick all that?
It's one of the things that you never stop learning. Like, you're always learning. So one of the things I say to people is always taste as many different things and as many different products as you can, because all you're doing is building your palate.
Right.
You're building your senses, and the more you taste and trial, then the more your brain can recognize the different flavors. So like we could taste something like, for example, a wine or a spirit and go, well, can you pick up, the raspberries or the sweetness in that? And you go, oh, yeah. But can you really? Like, what is that? What is that? But you only know if you've tasted a raspberry, right?
Right.
Like, you got to taste the raspberry before you can actually have the association that what a raspberry tastes like.
I fully just had a light bulb moment. So from now on, I'm just going to go and eat everything I possibly can because I'm building my palate.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how it works. And so you keep building your palate, and then after a while you can pick up a glass, and then all of a sudden you can go, oh yeah, I can taste, nuttiness, or I can fresh, grass or
Is fresh grass actually a thing in whiskey?
Yeah, it actually is.
Is it really?
Really? Like, have you not cut, when you cut the grass, it has a distinct smell?
It does. And I love that smell.
And this is the thing, when you taste, you want to, you don't know how to describe things. So you use what you know to describe something that you don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah. So you use things like analogies like, wow, that smells like fresh cut grass, right?
Yeah.
Or that actually reminds me of when I was, hey, honey.
Sure. Wave to the audience. But you just, no, they're over there in that camera. Yeah, no.
That's my partner, Rachel.
No, they can't see. Come in a little bit closer. And where are you taking that jug? Don't take the jug.
Because people are thirsty
Yeah.
and we're running out.
I'm thirsty. No, it's fine. I'll get one in a second. We'll go through.
We're selling out a limoncello today.
Are we really already?
Yeah.
It's only 4:00.
Well,
It's been a big
Easter.
Easter.
Because I have to make some more.
Well, we'll get you back shortly. But I suppose what you're talking about, the using things that you do know to describe things you don't.
Absolutely. So, like, for example, a local Robinvillian will probably say, wow, that reminds me of when I wake up in the morning and that fresh frost smell, you know.
Well, the smell of fresh rain that we don't smell very often.
Well, I can't remember what that smells like.
Yeah. Wow. So this is what you studied at university.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, when you do tastings, everything has an effect.
Yeah.
So you want to be in a room that doesn't have curtains because the curtains will absorb smell.
Really?
Yeah. So when you get really, really analytical, then it really goes into this whole different world.
It's so technical, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So how long was the course?
It took me a year and a half. No, I lie, 2 years to do. Yeah.
Wow. Hi, Peyton. Wave to everybody. We're on. You can go and get another ice cream. That's the only reason he's come, so he can sit here and eat all of Al's ice cream. It's fine. So let's talk about the cocktails that you are making that they're obviously running out of.
Yes. So we've used our local limoncello, obviously, that we've
This
made.
one?
That's correct.
Mhm.
So that is we made that limoncello in the traditional method. And that method,
Which is the traditional method?
well, we made wine using Robin Vale grapes. So we took the grapes in from local farmers. We then crushed it, turned it into a wine, and then we distilled that wine out into a grape spirit. Then once we had that grape spirit, we then bought lemons, but I wouldn't say lemons. We actually got the lemons from Mildura, but the lemons came from Rombal. They went to Mildura, they got peeled there, and then the peel came back to us.
This is a very good point you bring up. This is not the place to have a processing conversation, but it doesn't make
rind,
sense. Yes.
So we used lemon rind.
Right, okay.
So just the skin.
Yeah.
And then we put the grape spirit on the skin for 2 weeks.
Right.
And that's it.
Huh.
And then once we had that, then we took that spirit, which was yellow.
Yep.
And so it absorbed all that color and flavor from the lemons.
Yep.
And then once we had that, we knocked it back to, in this case, 32% alcohol. We added a bit of sugar just to make it sweeter, and it makes it easier to go down.
Yep.
And that's the limoncello. That's the traditional method.
I was going to say that's how your nonna, my nonna would have made it.
And
I haven't really looked into it.
Ethan, you've only been away a month. Put it up
I
to
don't
now.
have headphones. I assumed it was vodka.
no, so yeah, grape spirit, because it's Italian. It's an Italian recipe. And so the Italians would use their leftover wine or their waste wine, distill it out into a grappa. And then they would use that to then, because the grappa sometimes is a little bit rough. And so
Sometimes a little bit rough. I don't think I've ever had a smooth grappa.
so in this case, I was taught this recipe by Tony in Houston.
Really?
And
Tony who?
Tony Liperera?
Liperotta.
Liperera.
Really?
That's the one, yeah.
Really?
So Tony the boxer, he came down and he said, hey, you got to do a limoncello. I go, why would I do a limoncello? He goes, because this is an Italian town. And I said,
that's right.
Oh, well, I can make you one. And, so he told me how to do it, and I researched a little bit more. And hence this bottle of limoncello made in Robinvale by Robinvillians was created for the town of Italians.
That is the best story I think we've ever heard on this podcast thus far.
You're very kind.
That's the greatest story ever.
Well, it's no story. It's the real truth.
It's the truth.
It's the real deal, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And so you're making it up. I love limoncello. We were talking about this earlier. Being Italians, we keep our limoncello in the freezer.
That's correct. So that's the best way to have it.
Okay, great. I wasn't sure whether that was a myth, because sometimes with an Italian father or grandfather, ethnic grandparents, that you can take what they say with a grain of salt sometimes. Just saying, everyone would know what I'm talking about.
We've all had that experience.
Exactly, we've all had that experience. But I wasn't sure whether that was true because it is really lovely chilled after dinner or just after a meal.
Yes,
Don't
yes,
you-
as a digestive.
Yeah, a digestive.
Yeah.
That's
So
another good word to
An
describe it.
aperitif, I think, is before dinner,
Yes.
and a digestive is after dinner.
Oh,
So Italians would have the limoncello as a digestive. because
Okay.
It's sweet, so it's a dessert.
I will run with that and use all of those adjectives on Easter Sunday after dinner and go, I need the limoncello. I'm going to take a bottle of this to our Christmas Easter Sunday, which is still the big Italian fair, which I love at my auntie's, and they'll be most pleased, I'm sure.
I hopefully it's up to their standard because I know everyone's got their
Our
own little
standards are pretty
recipe.
low, David. Our
And-
standards are pretty low. No, they are. They're just, the cocktails that I tasted out here before. And to be honest, have you ever had limoncello in a cocktail before?
No, I was just about to say I've only ever seen it straight out of the shot glass.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
a bit
most would
surprised.
have it as a shot.
Mm.
That's correct. Yeah, but look, we found it's a bit sickly. If it is out of a shot glass sometimes, like because you
Not
don't
after
have
the
a few,
third or
right?
fourth.
Yeah.
But and so as a cocktail, it can balance that sweetness out,
Mm.
and so we balance it. So in this, for example, we put in a bit of prosecco wine.
Mhm.
We put in some lemonade, some mint, and some fresh lemons.
And what's better than that? What's better than fresh mint, prosecco, and limoncello? Really?
Yeah,
Like-
it's just a nice kind of spritzer in
Yeah.
a sense.
Correct. And it's so refreshing, and it's nice and warm outside, so it's lovely. You've also got a punch bowl outside as well.
We do have a punch bowl with some rum, which we didn't make, some vodka, which we did make.
You did make.
Yes.
Ooh.
Uh,
Can we buy that yet?
not yet, unfortunately. We're still working on our brand. So hopefully that'll come out next year.
Yep.
At the moment, we're still designing our bottle.
Mhm.
So we've got a bunch of designers that are making it as beautiful as possible.
Because that's important.
Oh, 100%.
yeah.
And we want to make sure that we're proud of Robinvale and what we produce here is world class. And so everything we do from we don't cut any corners.
Yep.
So for example, with the limoncello, we literally made the grapes. The grapes were made here in Robinvale.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were grown by the local farmers. But we literally made the wine to then make the spirit to then make the limoncello.
Yep.
And so with the vodka, it would be exactly the same thing. So we're going to be using local grain.
Yep.
We're literally brewing that into a beer.
Yep.
And then once it's a beer, we'll distill it into a spirit and then bottle that spirit as a vodka.
Wow. I can't wait to see the bottle.
Yeah.
I love a good bottle.
We
And
were
I will be
saying-
sold.
Like how beautiful this bottle is. Like it's not a square label slapped on a bottle. This is beautiful.
No, we chose that bottle because it has the shape of a lemon slightly. It's an elongated shape.
Yeah, the rounded sides.
And we decided to have the actual label painted onto the bottle rather than just slapping a sticker on it. So we went to like a lot of effort. And that vine that holds the lemon, it wraps right around the bottle. And I tell you what, that was the hardest thing to accomplish because it was just mind-blowingly difficult.
On a rounded
Wow. Did you hand paint every single one of these bottles?
I would like to say I did.
You can say you did. No one's going to know any different. Maybe Rachel, but how many other people would actually know? It is a beautiful bottle, but I am sometimes a sucker for marketing. That's my background. I will go for the prettiest bottle,
Yeah, why not?
regardless of what's in it.
Well, look, in this case, it's both. It's pretty and great to drink. So
Yeah.
it's a good combination.
And that cocktail, in fact, I've sampled both of your wares this afternoon already, rather quickly, won't lie, and they are delicious. Ethan's just about to go to sleep. He's got one eye half closed.
Sorry, I am awake.
How do you feel about it, Ethan? How's your cocktail? How developed is your palate? Describe the flavors that you're getting.
I've got a little bit left. Obviously, you can taste the citrus because it is limoncello. But the mint is very nice, very refreshing. And yeah, you don't make a sour face when you drink it. Like you would a shot,
fantastic.
so
It's a winner.
What does Jukesy, Dean Jukes, has a word that he uses to describe that face. And that's how he decides if wine is good or not. And I can't remember. I'll ask Al later. Actually, Dean might know. Dean Mitchell, do you know what the face is that Dean Dukes makes when he tastes the wine? No, you don't. No, I'll think of it. I might text him and find out. But
we'll come back to you in the next episode.
Yeah, in the next break, we'll come back to you and let you know what Dukes's face is. Charlie will know. Uncle Chulitz would know. But we'll let you go and make some cocktails. And if you want to come back in the next 10 minutes or so, and we'll talk about the punch, and we'll get Ethan to describe the flavours that are coming out of that one. Because you're so in-depth, Ethan.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah. And maybe Rachel would like to come and have an actual chat.
Oh, perhaps, yeah. So I'll rope her into
That's
it.
fascinating. And we also want to get to how you ended up in Robinvale. I think that would be a really cool story too.
It is an interesting story.
Oh, I can imagine. You look like a bloke, and you sound like you've got lots of interesting stories.
We've got a lot of stories.
Yeah, great.
We've got a lot of stories.
It's all about the book, isn't it, Ethan?
Yes.
Yes.
Book of life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, everyone's got a great story, don't they?
Yeah, everyone's got a
Well,
story.
they're building it.
Correct. Yeah.
That's right. One or the other.
Righto. We will take a break and we will come back very, very soon if I can find which one. This one, I think. We're just waiting for David to come back and talk about this lovely punch. It is lovely. There is a lot of people here, which is great, but the weather's perfect. So if you are in Robinvale this afternoon, please come down to the Jack. There's all these. I've saved this bottle of limoncello. This is Robinvale limoncello. It was Tony Liberotto's, or is Tony's recipe. Oh, there's grapes too. Where did those grapes come from? No, Giafrelli. Yeah, okay, then I will. Sure. Oh, thanks. It's just a whole lot of fanfare, isn't it? I decided to take it off because we'd been off for a bit, so I'm just talking to myself and the 2 or 4 people that are watching. Come sit down. They're delicious. Wow. I have, and I didn't bring them because I wasn't sure how many people were coming. We're actually getting a lot of new equipment through a grant that Network House have got. So anyway, yeah. So we're live again.
Hello, everyone. We're back.
Are you taking Uncle Chalitz's job?
Isn't here, so I'm gonna.
Chalitz is working. That's a shame.
He always has heaps of time off, and then when it's a holiday,
Oh, that's right. You're just not holding it close enough. Have I
I think I'd know by now.
You think you'd know by now.
Lost my touch.
Well, in the studio, it's always in a stand, isn't it?
Yes.
It's okay. Welcome back, David.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming back.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah. It's like you're doing it under duress, but you're really good at this.
No, look,
That's what
this
I
is my
said.
first podcast, and so I'm a little bit shy.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. There's no one shy here. Is there, Ethan? So we wanted to talk about, I'm going to move that out of your way, Ethan, because it's blocking the view of your beautiful face. There is a lot of people here now, which is terrific, and it's a beautiful day. But I want to talk to you about other parts of your story. Ethan, have you got any questions for David before I get stuck in again?
Yeah. Okay. How did you end up in Robinvale?
I ended up in Roma. It's an interesting story. Let me tell it to you.
Okay. That doesn't sound contrived at all.
No. Look, I got back from Edinburgh, and I set up a micro distillery or a R&D distillery in Melbourne, in Mount Waverley, in Corporate Access Park, just off Forster Road, off the Southeastern Freeway. And I was there for 2 years, and I was blending and making and learning on how to make vodka, et cetera, et cetera. And so I did my business plan because I did my first master's in entrepreneurship and innovation, and that's how to run a high risk, a high growth business. And so I knew how to write a business plan. I knew that I was chasing sales, and I really wanted to launch a global product, a global vodka, you know. And at that time, and this was probably about 17 years ago, you know, Smirnoff was huge. Grey Goose was massive. Kettle One vodka was huge. You know, vodka was all the big rage back then. And I looked at the Australian market, and I saw that we sold Foster's to the world. We sold beer to the world.
Mm.
I saw on my travels that we sold wine to the world, you know, Casella, Andrew Peace, De Bortley's, Penfolds, etc. And I instinctively saw that Australians were larrikins globally, great drinkers, and I just saw that, you know, naturally we should be making spirits and selling it to the world. And that's where my mind was. And I just thought, wow, let's do that. And at that stage, there was a couple of guys in Tassie. There was a gentleman in Perth making whiskey, and that was, you know, and then there was Bundaberg rum, and there was a few around, but nothing that would, or no one that could do a big vodka or commercial volumes. And well, apart from Bundaberg rum. And so I thought, wow, what a great opportunity. And so that's how I got onto it. And as I looked into it and I did my business plan, I realized I needed to do volume. And so I needed a larger site than my little 50-litre keg still that I had.
Yeah.
And so I was at the Fine Food and Wine Show in Sydney, and I met Richard Buller there from Buller Wines.
Buller's Wines.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And Richard said to me, he goes, I met him and I said, oh, look, I've got this little still and, I need a bigger one because I can't make enough booze out of this little still. It's not commercially viable. And he goes, you're a distiller? And I go, yeah. He goes, wow, they're rare. He goes, wow, I'm so really happy to meet you. He goes, yeah, we had a still, but we blew ours up. And I go, what? How could you blow it up? He goes, oh, well, we're doing some work on it. And we put a grinder to it, and the whole thing just combusted.
Wow.
And I'm just going, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
So he goes, and I go, wow, can I buy your still then? Because I need a bigger still. He goes, no, because it's blown up. It's in pieces.
It's in a bazillion pieces.
So he goes, but I do know of a still for sale. And I go, where is it? He goes, well, it's in Robinvale. And I said, where's that?
That's what everyone says.
So he went about and told me that McWilliams made sherry and they had this massive still in Robinvale and that sherry drinkers have all died off and now it's for sale because they're not making as much sherry as they used to.
Yeah.
And so I thought, wow, that's really cool. I want to go and see if I can buy this still. And so I then went about and asked him, draw me a mud map, which he did. And he gave me McWilliams' phone number, which he, so I called him up. And the next thing I knew, I was driving up to Robinvale. So I jumped in the car, drove up. And of course, I was in my old Mitsubishi Galant, Michoud Brown, and I had ripped jeans, had a bit of a beard happening at that stage. And so I came up and I met McWilliams. I met the director and I said to them, wow, what a great looking still. It's perfect. It's exactly what I'm after. I'll buy it. And
on the spot.
And I knew there was going to be a negotiation, but the director basically said, he goes, well, you do realize that, if you do buy it, where are you going to set it up? And I go, well, I'll just take it to Melbourne. I'll just work it out. And he goes, you understand that you need a big boiler to run it. And I go, yeah. I know a boiler maker in Melbourne. He'll sort me out. And he goes, okay. I know I'm a full optimist, right?
Yeah. Clearly.
Every problem there's a solution, right? And it's just like I'm completely cheerful and completely just, yep, okay, we'll just sort it out and get it done. So he continued to tell me, well, this still, it takes 13,000 litres of wine per hour. That's like a lot that you have to feed it.
Wow.
And I go, yeah, it is. So you need big fermenters, right? And I go, yeah, I'm going to have to build some big tanks. Yeah, that's a good point. He goes, yeah. And then after that, this still makes 1,000 litres of spirit per hour, which is like 2,000 bottles of vodka per hour.
1,000 litres per hour.
That's correct, yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a commercial still.
That's a lot,
It pumps it.
Yeah.
It was a still I needed to launch a global vodka.
Yeah.
Right? So you can sort of see I'm like super excited.
Yeah.
So then he goes, oh, well, you need a big receival tank because if it's making 1,000 litres of spirit per hour, like within 24 hours, that's 24,000 litres, right? Yeah. So you need a big tank. I'm thinking, yeah, we need a big tank. And I'm thinking, this is a good problem, right?
We're going to need a bigger boat.
Exactly. So then I go to, so then he goes, well, you'll need waste and then you'll need this. And then he's, basically educating me a little bit. And I'm sitting there kind of standing and looking at him going, okay, well, okay, all right. So there's a bit to think about. And I said, well, look, I'll have to do my due diligence around all this and work it all out. And he goes, well, sounds to me like you need to buy this place. And I've gone, I've got $2 in my pocket, right? I'm a young entrepreneur full of, love and full of energy and passion and want to take over the world, but no funds. And so I said to him, oh, yeah, I don't know if I can afford it. And he looked at me. He said, yeah, probably not, And I've gone, and he goes, well, how much do you want for it? And he goes, oh, 5 or 6 mil.
Oh, only 5 or 6 mil.
And I've gone, oh, well, I don't have that much money. And so he goes, well, can you afford $500,000? And I've gone, what?
It's a big difference.
That is a big difference.
Massive difference. And he continues to explain himself. He goes, what we'll do is we'll take all the tanks out. We'll take all the machinery out. And then we'll strip the whole place. And then the land and building, we'll leave you the still. And there you go. and then you can continue making your product, right? And so I said to him, wow, that's a huge, huge difference. And I thought to myself, well, at this stage, we're talking 16 years ago. So I thought, wow, you could buy a house in a very good suburb in Melbourne or something similar for that amount of money. And I'm thinking in my head that this is just like, the banks surely will lend me this because this is a huge distillery. Like I could just turn it on straight away and it'll be just pumping vodka like day and night. And so I confidently said to him, yeah, of course, I can get the money. Right?
And how did that work out for you, David?
Well, it was an interesting story. I'm glad you
Another interesting story. Let's settle in.
So I said to him, look, I need to do my due diligence and work out what machinery I need to keep. And so, look, I spent 3 months there and I tried to work out how the site worked. And in the end, I realized I needed to keep all the machinery there, or most of it. And so I gave him an offer for $1 million and they accepted.
Easy as that.
Well, it took me probably 6 months to get to that. And then I said to them, look, thank you. I'm going to go to the bank now and ask for the money.
Yep.
Right? So I went to the bank.
As you do.
The bank basically said to me, look, David, you're running a R&D distillery in Melbourne. You got no cash flow. How are you going to pay this off? And I said, well, we're going to make vodka. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Go, look, you got no cash flow. And I said, look, the place is worth 5 or 6 mil. But I negotiated down to $1 million, right?
Look at me. I'm an entrepreneur.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they so the bank said flat out no, and they said, look, you need cash flow for one.
Yeah.
Right? So I went back to the owners of the winery, and I said to them, oh, won't lend me the money because I don't have any cash flow. An R&D distillery in Melbourne, research and development, and we're just getting started, and we can't do it. So he goes, well, we got grapes under contract in the region for 3 years. We still need to buy grape spirit to make our sherry in Griffith. Why don't we just give you a contract and you can pay the bank back?
That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So it worked for both of us. And so I said, well, that's great. Thank you very much. So he drew up a 3-page contract with a couple of purchase orders. So I took that to the bank and I said to the bank, here's the cash flow to pay you back over 3 years.
Over 3 years.
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
So we went to the bank, just looked at me and said, no. And I'll tell you why.
Again.
No. Well, once they fell off their chair. Then once they got back on their chair, they said no because the contract wasn't like an 80-page bankable contract.
Yeah.
It was just more of a, well, you can make some wine and you can buy some spirit. We can buy some spirit off you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, again, going, well, that's annoying. Well, thank you very much, So then I went back to the owners and they said, well, we did our best. Good luck, And I said, well, you're telling me it's worth 5 or 6. You're willing to sell me for 1. You're happy to give me contract work to pay back. And why don't you guys just do vendor finance terms and I'll just pay you back over 3 years? And first thing he said was, no. We just want a clean sale. We don't want any trouble, all that sort of stuff. And, we just, good luck, And I said, okay, all right. Well, we're on the phone at this stage. And I said, okay. And then he goes, look, good luck. See you later. I go, hang on, before you hang up. And I'm thinking on my feet really fast at this stage because look, it's taken, 8 months at this stage to get to this point. And so he goes, why? I go, you're just a director. Well, not just a director, but you're an executive director. He goes, yes, that's correct. I represent this family business and, I've been doing business for 150 years and it's, and I'm so proud and, it's a great business. And he's just talking about it and he's just all excited about it and puffed up in pride. And so I said, okay, well, I'm the owner and director and managing director and whatever else you want to call it, my business. And I would like to put an offer to the board of directors. And then there was just absolute silence. And it was a silence for like 30 seconds, yeah. But to me, it was like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm sweating. And I'm going, oh, man, what's he going to say? What's going to happen? So then he breaks the silence. He goes, darn it. All right, send me an offer. and we'll put it to the board. We've got a board meeting in
Wow.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so I did a one pager and I said, I, David, will buy this, winery distillery for $1 million. You give me a contract and I'll pay you back over 3 years. It was simple as that. Anyway, it went to the board and they voted in favor.
Wow. That's democracy for you,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So that's how I got to Rumvale.
Wow.
Yeah, and I worked my butt off, absolute butt off for years and years and years, and sorted it out and remortgaged the place with banks and so forth, and that's how I got the place.
Wow.
That's how we got started.
That's amazing. So you've been here how long?
15 years.
Have you really?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's just a little bit longer than you, Ethan. 3 years.
Less than me.
Less, sorry.
I'm
That's what I meant. Are you 19 now?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a fascinating story.
Yeah, it's a cool story.
Yeah, very cool story of perseverance. Good for you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, look,
Yeah.
in my mind, I was like, I got to do this. This
Yeah.
is my dream. This is my passion. This
Yeah.
is what I'm about.
Yeah.
And in my mind, money wasn't a factor. Well, it was a factor, but it wouldn't stop me from achieving the dream.
How does your brain calculate that? Because in my brain, I go, well, if there's no cash flow and you can't make money off it, how are you going to eat?
No, because I thought, well, once I'm in there, I can still make vodka and make product and sell it and pay it off. So I'm a complete optimist. I just think the glass is half full, not empty. Yeah. So I'm always thinking, what's the next thing? How can I make it work? How can I hustle this and get it across the line?
Awesome. That's such a cool story. And I was saying to Ethan before, we're going to have to get you in the studio to tell more stories because I'm sure there's obviously more there.
It'll be 15 years after that.
Yeah, exactly. There's another 15 years to come yet. Yeah. But I wanted, Ethan, have you got any of your punch left? So out by the pool at the moment, Rachel is doing, I was going to say, we'll compare your palette to my palette. Are you just saying you don't? Because we were talking about palette development before, and before the kids completely lose their marbles. I know, darling. Yeah. He's just woken up, the poor thing. But this punch, and I love a good punch. Yes. Oh, working with kids during harvest, isn't it fun? You're okay. Do you want some grapes? They're delicious. These are Jafrelli's grapes too. They're amazing. I want to speak with my mouth full, but
the punch is made out of prosecco, limoncello. We've put mint, strawberries in it.
Is there mint in this one as well?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't pick that up.
And we've put some ginger ale in there as well. And so what that does is it balances out the sweetness. So ginger, it really does balance it out. So if you want to ever make a good punch, always put ginger ale in.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you put ginger ale in everything. I love a good. Oh, I do. I love a good ginger ale. What's the matter? Oh, tired. But the strawberries and the raspberries in this are delicious. Like anything as far with you've got strawberry and raspberries in a punch along with ginger ale.
Yeah, and it works. We did put some rum in it, just to a little bit of spiced rum.
So spiced rum is the dark one, yeah?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Like the Kraken rum?
I think
do you know Kraken rum? Yeah. Have you got any vision to go into rum distilling or no?
No. And the reason is there's no cane.
You need sugar cane. Right. So in vodka, mate. In vodka, is it potatoes?
It is potatoes and it is grain. So it depends what vodka you're after. But that's a whole podcast in that.
There could be a whole series in this. This is exciting. I've never actually thought to put limoncello in a podcast. In a podcast. I have thought about doing that before numerous times because we like doing tastings on this show. But I've never thought about putting limoncello into a punch, much less. I've had it as a sort of a mixer before, but not into a punch. And that is delightful out by the pool.
Yeah, it's nice. Isn't it?
Is it your recipe?
Rachel and I, we checked it out on the internet. we changed it a little bit. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll come down to the Jack before this kid completely loses it.
You can't taste the ginger at all, the ginger ale.
No, it's blended out, isn't it?
In there.
Yeah. So it just balances.
It's even in there.
Look at you with your developing palate. Look at you. You're starting to mature and all that.
Oh, it's all confidence, isn't it?
It is. All right, we'll come down to the Jack this afternoon. The bistro is open from 5 o'clock, so we better get off and free up their tables. And Ostrich Distillers, where can we buy it locally?
At the Romvale Motel.
Yep. So right here.
Right here.
Right here. Excellent. And it will be out. So the vodka you think's a year away that we can.
I hope so, yes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk to you before then. All right. Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, David.
We'll be back. Enjoy your
Pleasure.
Easter. We might see you tomorrow at the Toby Price thing. Toby Price from 11 o'clock at Euston tomorrow. I'm excited. Ethan, are you excited?
Yeah, very.
You've got no idea who Toby Price is, do you?
No, I do. Uncle Charlie filled me in.
My Uncle Charlie didn't even know who he was. David, did you know who Toby Price is?
Is he a bicyclist?
But no.
Good try. Close enough.
No. Not bicycles. Okay, cool.
No, I don't.
I'm going to go be with my people now. Okay, bye.
The Vale Podcast. Local